I can't seem to stick to my keto diet. How do I stick to it once and for all?
Oh my goodness. This is like one of those questions that could go a million different directions. So what is it that's keeping you from sticking to your diet? We have to identify the things that trip you up first. So for a lot of people, it's just intense cravings, like really, really, really intense cravings. And if you start to think about a craving as an emotional event, then you can kind of retool the way your brain reacts to a craving.
Can I chime in here?
Yeah.
Okay, so in Atomic Habits, James Clear talks about cravings, and I love how he defines them. So he says a craving is simply a feeling, and you feel here. So let's say you've had a bad day, and you're tired, and you don't have any energy, and you get home, and you haven't figured out what to eat, and you just want life to be easy, and you just don't understand why it's so hard for you, and you spiral, right? You start spiraling.
Yep.
And that generally will end up with you eating carbs. So that's the craving. So this is how you want to feel. You want to feel good. You want to feel energized. You want to feel confident. You want to attain your health goals. You want to stick to keto. So instead of eating the carbs, so James, back up and think about how to explain this. So the difference, this is the gap. The craving is simply wanting to feel here. So it's simply a desire to feel differently. So if you can start catching your thinking and saying, hey, if I order and eat the pizza, is that actually going to make me feel how I want to feel? So like he's saying, what's making you cheat? You already identified that you want to do keto. So why?
And the question is really simple. I can't stick to it. So when people say they can't stick to it, it's not because they've are actively making a choice to say, I'm going to do this diet for 6 months, I'm going to lose 30 pounds, and then I'm going to transition to just regular low carb, right? That's not the choice they're making. Like, the choice they're making is to stuff their face with whatever's in front of them that they can't get over, right? And so what Tara's talking about, this space that this gap, this feeling that you're trying to overcome, some of it's about being self-aware, and there's a moment, and you only get a couple seconds where
it's fast.
You see it for what it is, and you're aware of, oh, that's not what it seems to be. That's an emotion. Like, the reason I want that is because of I got yelled at today at work.
I'm feeling insecure about how I look.
Right.
I didn't feel good in my outfit today.
I've described that.
I don't want to deal with some stress that's coming up soon.
And I've described that before as that moment between moments. And if you can slip between those two moments and look at the situation or look at the thought or look at the feeling for what it really is, then you can pivot and you can do something different and you can stick to your diet.
So the other piece that we love to teach is how to build yourself an emergency plan for these situations where your cravings or your emotion, what we were just talking about, is out of control. So think about your favorite food. So for Jeremy, that's cake. Okay, well, we're just going to pick one. Okay, yeah. So cake. I know you're over cake right now because we have a freezer full of them. So find a great cake recipe, a keto cake recipe that you like. Get my Keto Cupcakes cookbook when we release it. And cook a couple different kinds or bake a couple different kinds of cupcakes and put those in your freezer. Now when that craving comes along and you just cannot handle it, you go and you get that food, and it doesn't have to be cupcakes, you choose a food. It could be waffles, it could be pancakes, it could be keto pizza, it could be any of these things. You go and you allow yourself to eat that food. The thing is, the next day, you won't have gone off your keto diet. Did you overeat in calories?
Probably.
Sure, probably. Could you have done a better job? Probably. But isn't it better to have stuck to the keto plan you wanted to stick to? So after time goes on, because you're catching yourself and you're pivoting and you're taking a different action, it becomes easier to slip in between those moments that Jeremy was talking about. So it's kind of a good stepping stone. And even 3 years in, we do this, especially when we know that things are coming up that might create extra stress in our lives. So as you practice this, you get better and better at it. But yes, absolutely, it is hard. It is a battle when you very first start to practice this. And so like Jeremy said, the first step is just catching the thought and assigning it, instead of this is a craving or this is a thing and I'm automatically doing this, realizing it's an emotion.
Yeah, so I was just thinking about this today. You know, we always talk about how keto has changed our relationship with food and with our hunger. And even a year ago or 2 years ago, when I would get sick, and I don't get sick very often, but if I would get this sick, that would have been one of those moments where I would have broke down.
Yeah.
And if you weren't here, I definitely would have called Papa John's and got a big old pizza and went ham on that thing. But now those thoughts didn't even enter my mind. So I didn't even have to battle with those thoughts this time. And I was kind of expecting that too. Like when I got sick, I was like, oh man, I'm going to have these weird cravings and but it didn't happen. And that was really, really surprising for me. During this last 3 days, is that I had no cravings, which
that's amazing.
When you're sick, not to have cravings to worry about just makes everything so much easier, because then you can just focus on getting better.
Yeah, because you feel so terrible already. So Edward says French fries. So Edward, I'm telling you, chaffles. So chaffles made specifically this way. So half of a cup of cheddar cheese, preferably a sharp cheddar cheese, 1 large egg, and 2 teaspoons of coconut flour. And you mix that all up and you put it in the mini waffle maker. And those taste like French fries. Like I am missing French fries now because I just make the chaffles.
Salt them.
Yeah.
Salt them.
Yeah, and to make them extra crispy, you take a little bit of the cheese, right? And you put it on the waffle maker and then you put the batter in. That's like the trick for getting crispier chaffles. Yeah. So just find that food that can be your emergency plan.
Yeah.
And spend the time preparing yourself so that you can be more successful during the week. Because any habit change is going to be hard. But you can do hard things. You've done them before, and you're going to do them again. So believe in yourself and just prepare.
And when you fail, because you will,
it's a part of growth.
Don't look at it as a failure. Look at it as an opportunity to learn and make a plan to get right back on, and stop thinking about it as a failure. Because the longer you sit in that thought pattern, the more likely it is that you are going to stay off of keto.
Yeah, and dive into
Just make a plan and get back on it. All right, tomorrow morning I'm right back on.
Or right now.
Yeah,
right now. I'm done. I'm back on right now. Don't wait till the next day.
Yep.